Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the Let's Go Racing Motorsports Report. I am your host, Mike Babicz, the voice of the Wilmot Raceway. Wilmot Raceway season concluded, so I won't be announcing it Wilmot in 2024 anymore because we wrapped up our season last week, with our first ever Fall Classic. I'm going to get to some results from that from time to time. I will be up at Plymouth Dirt Track this coming Saturday for the finale for the Interstate Racing Association Outlaw Wing Sprint Cars, the bumper-to-bumper IRA Sprint Cars. Also, the Wisconsin Autometer, powered by Gandrud Performance, wingless Sprint Cars, the 1175 Sports Complex Lightning Sprints, and the MSA 360 Sprints. And all Sprint Cars show the Wisconsin Sprint Cars Championships this coming Saturday night. Looking forward to that event. I'm going to be up there with George Bowman, who helped me out last Friday night at Wilmot, and also with Chatty Matty and Lauren Kelly. And we're looking forward to a great night of racing. It is an early start. Gates open at 4:30. On-track hot laps, I believe, about 5 o'clock. And racing slated to get underway right around 5:30, between 5:30 and 6. So plan on coming up. It's the last major sprint car show of 2024. Come on up to the Plymouth Dirt Track. Just a great facility. Looking forward to seeing everybody there on Saturday night. And the IRA actually will have a doubleheader weekend because they're going to be at Mississippi Valley Speedway on Friday night, and that's a makeup of an event that was rained out earlier this year. So they've got a doubleheader for the bumper-to-bumper IRA Outlaw Sprint Cars both Friday and Saturday night. I want to thank all of our partners that bring us to you each and every week. Hartnell Chevrolet coming on board this week. Also, John Hatterline, attorney at law. Force One Performance, B.J. Irwin and his fine crew. B&L Office Furniture, Scott Carpenter and his staff. American Tire and Truck Repair in Lindenhurst and Kenosha. The Great Lakes Dragaway, we'll be talking to John a little bit later on because they're still racing the Great Lakes Dragaway through the whole month of October, weather permitting. Also, Steve Sinclair and the IRA. As I mentioned, Steve's got a big show coming up this Friday and Saturday. Friday, Mississippi Valley up north, and then on Saturday at the Plymouth Dirt Track. Also, Wilmot Raceway wrapped up its season this last weekend with the Fall Classic. I'll have some results on that in just a little bit. Of course, our good friends from Fox Lake Harbor, the Hunt Club of Richmond, Midwest Motor Coach, and Olson Transportation. They'll be providing a Lake County Honor Flight veterans transportation up to Mitchell Airport and back. And that'll be coming up October 11th. They'll go up in the morning about 11:30, leaving North Chicago, and then returning on Sunday evening between about 7 and 7:30. They'll be coming back down the interstate. If you've never seen the Escort up or the Escort back, check it out. The Bodycraft M3 Custom Creations Wilmot Raceway Pace Truck will be in both Escorts, and we're looking forward to that. Also, MLS Auto Clinic, Eddie and Debbie Boyd do a great job there, and their crew, Tommy and everybody, does a super job at MLS Auto Clinic on Highway 50. As I mentioned, Bodycraft, Mark and Tony Maglio, longtime supporters of me personally, and also of Wilmot Raceway, and also of the IRA. Waukegan Harbor Marina and Greentown on the Rocks. We are planning on returning there for the Let's Go Racing Motorsports Show presented by Larry Roebuck. and that'll be coming up in the spring. We hope to have an exact date to announce soon. Impressions count. We Be Waxin'. Chad has a lot of storage available for you, so contact him at We Be Waxin'. He can store your boat or your custom car, whatever it may be. Buddies of McHenry, Culvers of Paddock Lake, A-Main Apparel and Diecast. Garrett and the Tennyson family does a lot to help us out. Northern Illinois Council on Alcoholism and Substance Abuse. The Stars and Stripes Honor Flight with BJ Johnson, who heads up the ambulance crew at Wilmot. He was on that honor flight and is an ambassador for that honor flight, so you can reach out to him if you want to know more information. Cabins on the Lake, great place to get away from it all, just north of Wells up there in Adams Friendship. Kathy and I are going to be taking a trip up there this coming weekend. Looking forward to enjoying a little bit of R&R up there and also celebrating our wedding anniversary. 5-Star Race Car Bodies, Daniel Sanchez, Carl and Corey Schultz. They can help put you to work. If you want to get a job in racing, contact 5-Star Race Car Bodies in Twin Lakes. Nielsen Enterprises, Ted Nielsen and his fine crew, whether it be a watercraft, they got the snowmobiles ready for you also, the UTVs, the ATVs, motorcycles, 3-wheels, you name it, they've got it. Check them out, Nielsen Enterprises of Lake Villa. Lake County Hose and Equipment, Bill Fusting and his fine crew do a great job. And RC Electronics that also take care of us so that I can keep in communication when I'm at a racing event. And also I want to thank my granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter, Kaylee Burns. She gave me a haircut today. She missed a few, though. She only cut some of the hairs. No, she does a great job. And her studio is located right near 1175 Sports Complex, right up there at Highways 11 and 75 in Kansasville. Stop by and see Kaylee and tell her Grandpa sent you. So, again, we want to thank all of those fine folks that help bring us to you each and every week. And, of course, can't thank Scott Carpenter enough for this in-studio that he has outfitted me with. And also, of course, Kent back there, my producer behind the scenes that keeps us moving along. This last weekend, as I mentioned, Wilmot Raceway wrapped up its season on Thursday night, day one of the first annual Fall Classic. It was Tyler Cuxhouse scoring the win in the wingless sprint cars. Matt Vanderveer won the Wing 604 feature event. The street stock win went to Rob Olson of Midwest Motor Coach. Jason Heyerdahl, back for the first time in about 8 years since he moved to Minnesota, came back so that he could race, so that his dad could see him race one time, and he got to see his dad got to see him score a victory. Ryan Tiny Horse Johnson also got the win in the Bandits. Matt Vanderveer, ironically enough, he dedicated the win on Thursday night to his father, Larry Vanderveer, whose health was failing. Ironically enough, the next morning, Friday morning, Larry Vanderveer passed. And Matt still raced on Friday night. We had a dedication to him in the national anthem ceremony, and also at the beginning of the 604 wing sprint car feature, Matt took a lap in front of the 4 wide, right behind the pace truck. Very impressive, recognition of Larry. Larry was a longtime racer at Wilmot, competed in the old style modifieds, the MRA type modifieds, the IRA, super modifieds they were called at the time, and then they evolved into the sprint cars. And just a great supporter of racing, a great friend of mine personally. He and wife Sharon, we used to spend a lot of Halloweens going around to check out various haunted houses. Just really great people. And our thoughts and prayers go out to the Vanderveer family. We do have a few of the preliminary details for the arrangements. There will be visitation from 4 until 8 o'clock this Friday at the Gurney Funeral Home. And there will be some type of visitation and service. They're shooting for Saturday morning. Complete details will come out later. So I would recommend check out Gurney Funeral Home and look up the Larry Vanderveer obituary and services information. Probably check that out maybe even this evening and you'll be able to find out what the details are for Saturday. Ironically enough, on Friday night, as I mentioned, Matt did want to race for his dad. He led the feature for a while. He had a pretty successful night, setting fast time and winning a heat, and then ended up finishing in second in the feature to Brian Christan, the second-generation driver. Brian dedicated the win to his brother TJ, who passed away 7 years ago on Friday, September the 20th. And he also dedicated it as well to, of course, Larry Vanderveer. So we also want to thank just everybody that has been supporting Matt since this happened. And again, our thoughts and prayers go out to him, and we'll certainly see him on Friday and Saturday, and we'll see him at the track, real soon. We do want to thank J&J Powder Coating, Joe and Judy Christan, Force One Performance, BJ Irwin, R&R Crossing, Fox Lake Harbor, Dave Mullis and the Mullis crew, Jack's Helmets. Jack does a great job doing helmet designs. JB Earth Designs, Sally, Bob, and Tony at Hunt Club of Richmond, Ellen Ipson of American Family Insurance of Antioch, Ryan and Jenna Marshall, and Betty Brandis from the Pit Shack. They all helped contribute some extra funds to the traveling series, the IRA wingless cars on Thursday night, and then on Friday night, the 1175 Sports Complex lightning sprints. A little bit of extra money went into the purses for both of those classes, and every driver got at least a little something extra, thanks to those folks that I just mentioned. On Friday, the lightning sprint win went to Nick Petska. Nick's going to join us later on in the program. And as I had mentioned, Brian Christan scored the win in the Wing 604s. Joe Heinfeld of Freeport, Illinois, a past champion at Wilmot, won in the modifieds. And Brandon Murtis picked up the win out of Salem in the street stocks, got to celebrate that with his two sons and his wife in Victory Lane. His son and his cousin, that was our nephew. Kind of trying to keep everybody's relationships correct. Anyway, Brandon had a little baby. He and his wife had a little baby in Victory Lane. And then Ryan Tiny Horse Johnson won again. And Brandon Berth won the MSA 360 sprint car feature on Friday night as Bill Taylor, who had led every lap coming for the white flag, ran out of fuel. And it was just amazing. They had a lot of cautions during that event that slowed the pace down, and they kept trucking along, hoping that everybody would make it. But unfortunately, the Bill Taylor did not run out of fuel at the white flag, but Brandon Berth went on to score the win, and then Brandon ran out of fuel right after he took the checkered and had to tuck right into the infield. So on Saturday night, the 410 championship for Wilmot Raceway was decided, and it was our guest from last week, Blake Nemi, scoring the victory out of Yorkville, Illinois. Congratulations goes out to Blake and his team, his father, and everybody that works on the number 79. They'll be up at Plymouth this coming Saturday. And Blake was very, very emotional in Victory Lane when I interviewed him, saying that it did really mean a lot and was very, very special to join all the various champions from over the years at Wilmot in wing sprint cars. So, at the home of sprint car racing, where sprint car racing was born, thanks to the late Ray Toft, Junior Dodd, and also Whitey Harris. And we need to work on getting Junior Dodd in the Southeastern Wisconsin Hall of Fame. Other winners on Saturday night at Wilmot were Tommy Sexton, his 1 month anniversary present to his wife Rhonda. Joe Heinfeld won on Saturday as well. Blake Cruiser scored the win in the street stocks, and Ryan Tiny Horse Johnson made it a trifecta for the horse number 38 as he won his third feature of the weekend. Next up for Wilmot will be the banquet on January 6th. Check out wilmotraceway.com for more information. Also on Saturday, up in Plymouth, Wisconsin, the 7th annual Jim Wildman Watson was held, and the Dirt King feature went to Brett Swedberg. Nick Anvelink was the Dirt Kings champion for this year. The wingless sprint car feature went to Jimmy Sivia for the Wisconsin Wingless Sprints. The modified win went to Cody Schroeder, and street stocks to Josh McDonald. And as I mentioned, also this coming weekend, 141 is going to host the Battle of the Creek, and we understand several of our bandit drivers are going up there. So we want to wish them well. I do want to show you a couple of things before we bring in our first guest. Went to Glenn Hefner Incorporated this last week. Glenn Hefner, and we mentioned on the program, passed away a few weeks ago. And, always a great racer. This was a car that he drove, a modified, the old style modified, and he actually drove this car. This is a picture from Wilmot Raceway. This car was also in my car show several years and several times. This is a sticker that they've made up. One of these will be on the Bodycraft Pace Truck in memory of Glenn. And, a super guy. It was a great turnout on Sunday. Kathy and I went up there and got to visit with a lot of folks. And Jeff Wessel, a good friend of ours, gave us an insider's tour. And it's just amazing what they do up there. But Glenn started that years ago, and his sons, Troy and Todd, have kept the business going. And Jeff actually, he keeps the racing division going. So thoughts and prayers go out with the Hefner family as well. As you know, the racing scene has lost a couple of folks. And this last week, I started to give these out, and I will be continuing to give these out. The racer's prayer that I say before each and every race event that I do. I did not author it, but I have used it for a lot of years. And I'm giving these stickers out to drivers, and a lot of them are putting them on their cars or somewhere where it's a very special thing for them. So we got our first guest coming in here, and I told her, you got to be short, Cheryl, because I'm going to be long. No, we have Cheryl McCreary joining us.
Hi, guys. Hi, Betty.
Cheryl, welcome to the program. And goodness, voice is still getting me. You've got a big event coming up this Sunday, or a week from Sunday, actually.
It's this Sunday.
It is this Sunday. Days are starting to fall together. It is this Sunday, September 29th. So go ahead and tell the folks a little bit about what's happening up there in Kenosha.
Well, thanks, Mike and the crew here for having me on. And it's wonderful to be part of the Wilmot Raceway family, helping out and singing the anthem through their years at the races. And this past weekend was awesome on Saturday to close it out. So thanks again for the opportunity to have me on, Mike. And this weekend, and I thank Mike also for graciously sharing about the event at the races and opportunities to put up some posts for that. We have our 11th annual car show at Prayer House Church. I'm the music director there. My husband's our drummer. So we do music there at the church, but we also do music at the car show. And we're looking forward to celebrating again this coming Sunday. And things start at 11. We start rolling cars in about 10. They come early to get a good spot. It's going to be a great time. It's a donation type cash donation for the show and free for spectators. And we're hoping and praying for that rain to stay away on Sunday. We have seen that rain was going to be there, but we're going to pray that out. We do have various trophies and awards we'll be handing out. Also, I help out with that presentation with People's Choice, Judge's Choice, and others. And we also have a wonderful array of foods that will be prepared, homemade, taco food tent, free Culvers. Again, Mike, we're going to have some of the Culvers truck will be out there. And we have face painting, bounce house, and again, entertainment with our band, Cheryl McCreary Band, and also with the Los de Repente, some Spanish cowboy music. We're going to piggyback through the day for the show. And it's open for everybody. Again, spectators are free. Cars are coming from all over the Midwest, including Chicago, for this event. So we welcome everybody. It's going to be Prayer House Church at 1525 24th Avenue in Kenosha, just west of Casa Capri, if you want to know exactly where it is. And again, if anyone is interested, we can register that day, or we have the online portal with the Facebook page at the Prayer House Church Facebook page. If anyone's interested, our flyers posted. And the number for the car show, if you do want to call our secretary, she's there till tomorrow as well, till Thursday at 595-0500. And then it's going to be number 1. So 262-595-0500, push number 1. She's there on Thursday before the event.
Okay, Cheryl. Well, appreciate all that you've done for us at Wilmot and also at Libertyville Manor, and looking forward to a great event for you on Saturday. Kathy and I will be up north. We'll be thinking
Sunday.
of you. We'll stay in or Sunday, that is. We'll be thinking of you when we're up north, but and praying that everything goes well for you. And we'll definitely be in touch during the off season and getting things ready for 2025.
Yes, and again, any of the racers that come out are welcome to come out. I did kind of talk to Scott and see if he wants to bring the bandit out. And again, anybody's welcome to come out. Just show up. If you want to get there a little early, we'll get you parked, and you guys will be a special announcement. I'll be emceeing between the event as well. So come on out, see some great cars, hear some great music, enjoy some great food, and some good family fun. So thanks again to Wilmot, all you guys. I appreciate your producer as well for the opportunity to share today.
All right. Thank you, Cheryl. Take care. God bless. We'll see you. Okay, and again, that's Sunday. That's on Sunday, not Saturday. Sunday, September 29th, up there in Kenosha at the Prayer House Church. Joining us now is somebody that actually kind of sort of got me started in this a long time ago. It was actually his late father that I followed at Waukegan's Speedway. We've got Greg McCarnes coming on board here to talk with us because I know he's got a meeting promptly in about 10 minutes or so. So we don't want to keep him from that meeting. But Greg, welcome to the show. And I know the McCarnes always have a big event going on in the fall. And you've got a big one coming up at La Crosse. So give the folks a little bit of insight on what you got planned.
Yeah, absolutely. It's our 55th annual Oktoberfest race weekend at La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway. It's 4 days of racing, fun, festivities. The camping is outstanding. The after race parties are wonderful. Just the whole community of short track racing comes together in West Salem the 5th weekend after Labor Day every year. 55th annual Oktoberfest race weekend. So we're going to start Thursday, October 3rd, and then that's super late models, our sportsmen, all the quarter mile activities with the Hornets and the 6-shooters. And then plus we have the futures and the night super late models. Our weekly late models, which are amongst the best in the nation, they run Thursday double features and then crown their champion on Friday night with double features. So they're going to run 4 feature events during Fest. And it's a trickle 99 on Friday night for the super lates. Plus we're announcing it's a 7,000 to win area sportsman race Friday night also. So pretty spectacular there. And then Saturday, October 5th, it's the big 8 late models plus super late model preliminary events, the Midwest Trucks, the Midwest Dash, Mid-American Stock Car Series. And then we roll into Sunday. We have the Racers Reunion. So anyone that's raced at La Crosse in the past, no matter what division, you're invited to come up to that. A great time in turn 1 and a bunch of vintage cars on display. Plus we have vintage racing in addition to the 200 lap ASA Midwest Tour season championship event, as well as our Crate-toberfest, which Gandrud Chevrolet out of Green Bay, they put up a brand new 602 crate engine, and any car with a 602, doesn't matter if it's dirt, asphalt, truck, modified, outlaw late model, you name it, if it has a 602 late model in it or engine in it, it's welcome to compete. And the winner gets $1,000 plus an extra entry, but every competitor gets 1 entry into the drawing for the engine. And it's you got a better chance of winning a 602 crate engine than you do winning on a pull tab at your local taverns. Got one of the 602s, bring it up and come run at La Crosse on Sunday, October 6th during Oktoberfest.
And I'll tell you, it's been a number of years. I'll kind of date myself because I think the last time I was up there, Tim Cox was running an asphalt late model. So now he's running a wingless, and he's driven a whole bunch of stuff in between. But it is just a great event, and it's like you've got this event and you've got this fun time, this family time. Oh, by the way, they're going to do some racing out on the racetrack at the same time.
Yeah, it's nearly 2,000 campers and over 600 race cars. And if you haven't been to Fest in a while or you've never been, we invite you up. Our team, Austin Wells and everyone up there, they're putting their best foot forward. Preparations are already underway. We did paving this week, getting the campground ready to go. And it's just, there's nothing like Fest. We always say Fest is best. And if you come experience it, you'll see that, everything from the pancake breakfast to the memorabilia show, all the different things we have, pet parade, the campfires, the camaraderie. We have the speed screen jumbotrons. We replay the races in the pavilion afterwards in the exhibition hall, and have bands Friday and Saturday night, free beer Thursday night with the lacrosse teams, and just a celebration of their season. And it's just everything we do, we try to have fun. Sometimes we, racing can bog people down, but when you get up there to Oktoberfest and you smell the campfires and the pork chop sandwiches on the grill and everything else going on, it's a sensory overload, and the beautiful fall colors. Even if it's a one-day drive up with your significant other to watch the leaves turn and the race cars race, it's worth taking the trip up to West Salem the weekend of October 3rd through the 6th.
Well, and I always remember, and I think your dad, I'm sure, echoed it. The late John McCarnes echoed what Hugh Derry said one time at a promoter's workshop. We're not in the racing business. We're in the entertainment business. And we just happen to do a little racing along with it. But you have definitely taken that torch and ran with it from your folks. They would be very, very proud of what you have done. Thanks for letting me steal your brother, Jeff, to drive our pace truck this year at Wilmot. That worked out. He didn't run into any race cars. He never got the truck stuck. So
I was actually at Menominee Red Cedar for the Punky Manor last weekend, and we were texting back and forth. So he was at a dirt race and I was at a dirt race, and whoever thought the McCarnes boys would be at dirt races on a weekend in September. We both love racing. I'm glad he's found his way back into it. And so Saturday night was actually my 248th track that I've witnessed racing at. So I'm trying to get to 250 by the end of this year. So just say that we're into this racing deal might be an understatement.
That's for sure. Of course, you got Angel Park, and you've also got Madison International, and you still work with the Big 8 series. And one thing, and I've got to touch on it because I know you've seen it, and it was a track that both of us were fortunate enough to have worked at and worked with the Deary family. The final pieces of Rockford Speedway are gone. Or going as we speak. They're in there. They're chewing up the asphalt now, and the walls, and whatever little bit was left. They did put a pile. I don't know if there's any left of some of the asphalt out near the pit shack that folks could come and get. I know you and I both have a lot of memories there. You a little bit more than me because you worked there longer than I did, but I went there and watched a lot of races too when I wasn't working there, and just a special place.
Are we blessed that we had Rockford Speedway to make those memories?
Yep.
And I might be a little different on it. I was there for 10 years, and I grew up there from childhood, and my parents and the Deary family have been business partners, and I'm business partners with multiple Dearys still through the auctions and through our speed screen and through lacrosse. And yes, it's tough. It's tough to watch it go, but I'm glad that it's going versus just sitting there. And it might sound cruel or what have you, but we've seen other tracks that have closed that they sit there and they're just dormant, and then you have to drive by and there's no progress. And I mean, from Waukegan on, there's been those reminders. The good thing is that with our family farm at Madison International, it's kind of a cool deal. We ended up buying the flag stand, and it turns out that my dad bought it at an auction in the late 90s. and then Rockford bought it from him. So we actually ended up with it, and that's going to be our junior flag stand, and with a little plaque about Rockford on it. So that's neat. The lights from the pit area are coming to Madison. There's lights that are going to Jefferson, and there's bits and pieces of Rockford Speedway are going to be at the local short tracks that people are still able to support. So the Joe Shear roof that was in the bar, my brother, I don't know that he bid me up, but he shamed me into paying for it. But I'm glad that that's it. We have that at Madison, hanging in the tech shed. And I actually, in June, when we had the ASA Stars Tour there, I'm like, guys, right here, this is, Joe Shear set the bar, along with, the Trickles and the Watsons of the world, on how we race. And we're going to race the Midwest way, and hopefully the rest of the country can follow suit. So pretty cool to have that there. And just, from driving my S10 there to help line score when I was 16 to being the general manager there for 10 years, it's just a lifetime of memories, and glad we got to experience that, and that a little bit of it's going to live on at the tracks throughout Illinois and Wisconsin.
Yep, and there's even some pieces going to a dirt track called Wilmot, because the pit bleachers are going to our pits, from what I understand. They may even be up by next spring.
I saw them getting torn down, so I'm all those things. It's just it's sad that it's gone, but I'm glad that that so many hundreds of thousands of people were able to make memories there, and we see that with Madison. I was just in town the other day, and a person I didn't even know came up and just thanked us for having the racetrack, because he brought his kids out, and he said what a great community event, and thanks for all you do for racing. I had no idea who the gentleman was, but he comes to our racetrack on Friday nights, and his kids enjoy it, and there's something special to be said about short track, whether it be pavement or dirt. I don't care. Let's support those short tracks and keep the grandstands full and the pit areas full.
That's for sure. Well, before we let you go now, where can folks go for information and tickets for Oktoberfest?
Yeah, so Oktoberfest race weekend is the official website, and the fan guide's on there, competitor guide's on there. If you can't remember that, lacrossespeedway.com. But October 3rd through the 6th, we have practice on that Wednesday night, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're racing all 4 days, and come on up and find out why Fest is best.
There you go. Well, we appreciate it always, Greg. Always enjoy visiting with you and talking with you, and we'll look forward to seeing you. She's not listening, so maybe I can talk my wife into. I'll just tell her we're going for a ride to see the fall colors.
Fall colors. Used to get to the racetrack. There's very few racetracks as picturesque as Lacrosse Fairgrounds Speedway in October.
There you go. That's for sure. Say hello to your bride, and we'll hope to see you soon.
You bet. Take care. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Again, that was Greg McCarnes joining us, and they've got Oktoberfest coming up next week. So plan on joining us. We're going to shift now, and we're going to go straight racing. We're going to bring in John here from Great Lakes Dragaway. And John with our weekly updated report on what's happening on the straight races. Hi, John. You've changed.
I don't like.
There's John. That's the John I know. I don't know who that other imposter was that jumped in there. Well, welcome to the program. And I know, it's end of September, getting close on the 1st of October soon, and things are still going at least for another month or so up there at Great Lakes Dragaway.
Yeah, we've got obviously it's ladies' night again, and they're still battling out. There are a couple races behind the men, but they still have enough time to take the lead and win if they want to. But we got something coming on this Friday. We have this One Guy's Garage. There's this Drag Weekend 2024 where it's a drag and drive event. Friday, they're going to be there, pull into Great Lakes Drag about 1:00, and then start racing from about 2 to 5. And then from there, they'll head to Byron Drag Strip on the 28th. And then on the 29th, they'll end up at Tri-State Dragway in Iowa. But that's kind of cool. Something a little bit different. Some of these drag and drive event cars, something different to see at the track, which we've had 6 Summer was there this year. And this is another drag and drive event. So it's kind of cool.
So in taking a look at the schedule here, it pretty much says this weekend is, quote, fun racing. Of course, racing's always fun. But no real like bracket stuff or points racing, so to speak, this weekend then.
Right. Yeah, this weekend's just pretty much a fun racing weekend. It's starting to wind down a little bit. We're looking forward to the Wisconsin Outlaw Street Nitro Streetcar Brawl. That's going to be in October. That's going to be the one final race that'll determine who the winner is for the points. And that's a great race to watch. It's always a lot of fun. They'll be on the 12th. But that's a good one. We'll be racing out that one, our Brew City Gasser group. We're going to do a little, our Brew City Gasser group's going to do a little fun bracket race on October 5th, our Dragtober thing we call it, where our members get in and then we throw a little money into the hat to do a bracket race and get the winner and runner up to win some money for racing. We'll actually do a sanctioned type bracket race, which is normally what we don't do. We always race heads up. So we did it last year. It was a lot of fun, and just for fun, we'll do it again this year.
Now, talking about drag racing and the Brew City Gassers in particular, just like when we talk about sometimes in my officiating and, the high school officiating I do, we're having a hard time finding young people that want to take an interest and do it. What about in drag racing? I mean, we've never really talked about that. I know you've got the junior dragster program there at Great Lakes Dragaway. I know that at one point that was huge when Billy Fusting's kids were kids. They both were involved in it, and there was lots of kids that would be out there every Saturday morning racing in the junior dragsters. What about that today? What are you seeing in the drag racing world as far as young people getting started in it?
Well, the junior dragster stuff is still pretty hot and heavy, and it's kind of crazy how those cars go pretty fast in the 8th mile. Some of them 79, 80 miles an hour for younger kids is pretty fast. And we also have a couple younger guys that's joined our club. We've got one guy, Quinlan, that's got a Falcon that he built himself, and he's gasser type car, and he's in his early 20s. He started getting into it. And then another guy is a little bit older than him, but Matt, I still call him a kid, but he built a Nova that he was taking to the car shows, and then he started to take it down the track once or twice and found out how much fun it was. So he's been racing with us the last few races, and it's kind of nice to get the younger people in there. We're a lot of the younger kids are enthused, and our type of racing, you don't have to spend a ton of money in to get it. A lot of guys watch like the Street Outlaws cars and some stuff like that. And there's a lot of money invested in those cars, a lot of horsepower, but you can run with us with a slower car and just kind of make it look period correct with the wheels and that, and still go out and have a lot of fun.
Well, and even at Wilmot, we've got a young man named Brian Strain Jr., past guest here on the program. He was leading the feature again last Thursday night and broke a clutch again. 2 races in a row while leading. Two races ago, though, it cost him the championship. He was leading, and he ended up losing the championship by, I believe it was like 6 points, because he had to lead 4 laps left in the event. And all of a sudden I see him just pull off, and I'm like, where's he going? And I found out, broken clutch cost him the championship. Mark Heinert able to stay on the track and finish the race and won the championship. Now there's 3 of them. Brian, Nick Petska, who's going to be on next, and Mark Heinert are vying for the championship in the Lightning Sprints this Saturday up at Plymouth. Any one of the 3 could win it.
That's cool.
Which is amazing, after you go through an entire season. What about one thing that's big for us oval track racers is go-kart racing. Do you get many drivers coming through the go-kart ranks that end up drag racing?
Not too many that I've seen. I'm sure there's some out there. Some of them. Well, one of our members that raced with us with the Brew City Gassers, he's got a lot of go-karts, and he's got his kid just starting in with the go-karts now. I think he's 6 years old, and the kid's doing really, really well. It's funny, one of my friends that also was a drag racer, now his granddaughter and grandson are both getting into the go-kart type things. Last Friday we had an event out there at our RC drag strip, and that was pretty well received. There's quite a few racers out there that have the RC cars that go on the RC drag strip that we have. west of the track there. And that was a good event too. I saw there was quite a few cars out there racing.
So now you mentioned for the Brew City Gassers, you're going to have kind of somewhat of a fun event coming up. Are your points races done, or do you still have any to go? And if they're done, who's your champ?
Well, we kind of do all of our stuff is pretty much exhibition run for fun. We run against ourselves. So we don't have we've got a lot of different cars and a lot of different time ranges. Although everybody is stepping their game up. We've got just this weekend, we had 2 more of our members. We were racing up at Rock Falls and Eau Claire, and well attended. It was this fall out drags. It was well attended by our group. We had like 46 of our racers up there, and we had 2 more of our racers get into the 8-second range at the quarter mile. So out of our 52 members, there's like 6 or 7 of us that are going faster than 9 seconds in the quarter mile in the 8 seconds, which is pretty good considering we got a lot of the cars I think all of them are straight axle cars, with lighter bar type suspensions and that. So we had a good weekend there. It was fun, and everybody seems to be getting a little faster. We all started out slower when we first started the group, and everybody's progressing and getting a little bit quicker and a little bit faster.
Well, I've done a lot of racing, exhibitions mostly. And employee racing. We used to always have employee races at the end of the season. I've never driven a car on a drag strip, so I don't know if we can work something out here before the end of the year, before the snow flies.
Yeah, absolutely. We could do that for sure. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Take you down there, kind of show you how it works with the Christmas tree and when to leave and where to turn off, and maybe get you a little ride in one of the quicker cars just to see if you can, it's so crazy with how much glue is on that track. At that last Wisconsin Outlaw race, one guy literally was glued to the track and fell over. He couldn't pick his feet up off of the, and people walk out of their shoes all the time and have to peel them off the track. Yeah, it's crazy, how sticky that track can get.
Yeah. So, well, I know that you folks, Randy and Connie and yourself and the entire crew up there at Great Lakes Dragway, you're planning, if Mother Nature cooperates, on racing through the whole month of October. But again, I think we've had it up there. I'm not sure the website to go to. And I know I believe you're still looking for somebody to help you with your social media, or did you find somebody yet?
We did find somebody. Yeah, we found a woman that's actually had done that for some sports writing and that. And so far, she seems to be doing a really good job. So it seems to be working out pretty good. I haven't been paying too much attention to that part. I was out there I'm working on one of the lawnmowers out there to fix. It's got a bad engine. So I was out in the shop working on that, but she seems to be doing a really good job. So got some big shoes to fill with Nathan. He was really doing a good job, but she seems to step right in there and take over. So I think we got that covered. Yeah.
Well, maybe sometime this winter, then we should all have an outing and go see Nathan down there at a Chicago Wolves game.
There you go. Yeah, that would be pretty good. Yeah, that would surprise him for sure.
Yeah. All right. Again, phone number. I know the boss seems to usually answer the phone. We got the website up there now on the screen, but what's the phone number if folks want to give a call and want to find out weather conditions, whether the track's going to be open or not?
Yeah, phone number is 262-878-3783.
All righty.
Yeah.
Well, as always, we appreciate you coming on, John, and the support of Great Lakes Dragway. You guys have been fantastic. You've been with us since show 1 that we started up. I don't know if you heard about the car show this weekend. If any of your guys want to make it up there to Kenosha, to the Prayer House, I'm sure they'd love to have you have some race cars on display on Sunday, 11 to 2. And again, there's more information if you go to prayerhouse.com. I think it is. It's on 24th Avenue in Kenosha this Sunday.
Okay.
All right. Great. Thanks again, John. Take care. God bless. And we'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good. We'll talk to you next week, Mike. Have a good week.
You too. Bye-bye. All righty. That's John, Great Lakes Dragway. Again, they're planning on trucking along until October. or through October, actually. Until October is not that long from now. But no, they're going to keep going through October. They do scale it back. I think they're closed Monday and Tuesday, starting up pretty soon. But again, go to GreatLakesDragaway.com for the complete information. Our last guest tonight is actually a guy that scored a victory last Thursday at Wilmot Raceway in the Fall Classic. And joining us on the program is now Nick Petska. Nick out of Spring Grove, Illinois. Has his car right behind him there in the shop. And Nick, first of all, congratulations on your win last week, your second win at Wilmot this year. Of course, last week's did not count toward the Wilmot points, but it did count toward the 1175 Sports Complex IRA Lightning Sprint points. And now we've got a three-way battle going into Saturday.
Yeah. First of all, good evening, Mike. Thanks for having me on. It's going to be down to the wire again. That seems to be pretty typical for me every season almost. So nothing abnormal there. I think I'm in third, 15 points back. Mark's leading, and little Brian's in second, 6 points back from Mark. So anyone's game Saturday night up at Plymouth.
That's for sure. Now, do you know anything about the format? I know sometimes the format of the Wisconsin Sprint Championships is a little different than a regular race night. Sometimes there's certain cars and drivers that are locked in and locked into certain rows. And then, they just let the other drivers that didn't qualify through points sometimes run through a qualifying race, kind of like a B main sort of thing. I don't believe they're going to be using heat races, but don't quote me on that. You might know better. So if you do know better, please share.
Yeah, for the Lightning Sprints, we'll run our program as normal. It's the wingless cars that'll do that. I don't know how many guys they're locking in, and then they'll run the rest that aren't locked in a B main, and then that'll be it for those guys for the night. So they won't run heats or qualifying or nothing.
The only exception
will run a normal program.
Now, and so that's group Grand Prix style qualifying.
Yes.
And then you're split into, depending upon how many cars split you into the heats. And I should know, but just in case our listeners don't, how are you guys inverted? What's the inversion for the heat races?
That actually goes off of how many cars are there also. I don't follow that rule that closely, so you're probably asking the wrong guy. I know some nights there could be a 2, 4, and 6 pill in there. There's nights there's a 2, 3, 4, 5 pill. It all depends on the total number of cars that show up for the night. I start wherever they put my number on the board, and I don't complain about it. It's a lot easier that way.
There you go. Because you're probably not going to change their mind anyway, so you might as well. Yeah. And again, I mentioned Hugh Derry a little bit ago, and John McCarnes. I mean, they all said, the whole idea of racing is to pass cars. So if you got to start someplace and you're a little further back, well, the people want to see you pass cars. And I should have mentioned this earlier. I'm sure you probably heard about it, even though you weren't at Wilmot when he did it. Matt Vanderveer ended up running his 604 crate car in the feature with the 410 cars on Saturday night, and he started last, 22nd. He finished fifth.
I made it up there. I got to see that. It was pretty neat to see.
He was just flying.
Perfect track for that. As slowed down as the track it got with the being dry slick and everything, it was perfect for him to have that motor and that car there because it was hooked up and going.
Yeah, well, and the same thing happened a number of years ago. John Tierney had that on a Saturday night at Wilmot during the fair. Actually, it was an open show, and the track got dry on him, or not on him, on everybody. And he had a smaller engine than everybody else, and he won the feature that night. He always said it was the little engine that could.
I think Chris Dan's done that quite a few times with a 360 against the 410s too. So it's definitely possible. And there's nights that a lot of people won't believe this, but there's nights that the Lightning Sprints will actually run a faster lap time than the 410s do when it slicks off. If you go on race pass on those really dry nights, these cars will actually run a faster number on the slick. Now, when it's tacky, we're 2 seconds slower, but I'll get they'll sniff that moisture out pretty good, and they're fast.
Now, for your setup for your car and for your tires and everything, do you decide how to set it up? Does your crew decide how to set it up? Is it a collaborative effort? How does that work?
Mostly it's me that does all the deciding what we're going to do. My dad has been giving me quite a bit of input, bounce ideas to try to sway me away from. I'm very set on, I'd like to do the same thing all the time. So he kind of pushes me, hey, let's go a little more and see what happens, and keep pushing the car a little further than where I may be comfortable running it. So, and it's helped. It's definitely helped, and found a couple things this year with this. This is a different car than what I had run with for Larry with Dream Chaser Racing in the past. So this car drives slightly different than the other ones that I had, and it's got a different engine package in it. So that all come into play with trying to get a setup to work on this car. And the last half of the season, we really found some speed and broke the track record at Wilmot a couple races ago when we were there. So I think we lowered the track record down 2 more tenths from what it was. So the speed's there, and then when it dries up, we got really good setup that's working on the dry slick stuff too. So really comfortable no matter what we have to go out on and race.
What kind of an engine do you run? What size?
This is a 1000cc Suzuki in this car, and that's pretty common amongst the group. A lot of guys are running a new generation Suzuki engine. There's a couple Yamahas. There's John Kirk runs a Kawasaki. I think Tim and Max Branham are running Hondas. So there's 3-4 different manufacturers out there.
And during the course of the year, obviously you want to make sure that your engine survives the entire year, but how many engines would you go through? And then now after the season, will you have to replace it, or just, freshen it up and get ready to go next year?
What we try to do with ours is run them about 25 nights and then have them gone through. And I lost an engine down at Sycamore when we ran down there back in July. So we had an engine blow up in my car down there, and that's what set me back on the IRA points. I only got qualifying points that night, so I didn't get any heat race points or any feature points because we blew up during qualifying. And so basically, I gave these guys 60 or 70 points. So if I would have jumped in Mike's car or Nate's car that night, but I didn't want to bump anyone out of their car, I could have started the feature in the back and maybe salvaged quite a few points. We'd be leading the points right now going to Plymouth, but I didn't want to bump anyone out of their ride and think I needed priority over them. So, but about 25 nights usually is a good number for these motors, and have them gone through. They'll put bearings and re-ring them, re-hone the cylinders, valve springs, recut valve seats, pretty much like any other race motor.
Okay, now obviously the one difference with you guys, and actually this happened Thursday night to Erwin, his chain actually broke and came off the car and was on the racetrack, and we eventually had a yellow because of his chain.
Yeah.
How often do you check your chain, and how often do you have to replace that chain? During the year.
We'll typically run the chain one season and then it's done. Keep it as a spare in the trailer. So whatever our season is, 15, 16 nights, that chain's done. And you buy the absolute best chain that you can buy that's on the market, and they're pretty wore out after 15, 16 nights. I have a habit of breaking sprocket bolts in the rear sprocket on my cars. This car does it. Another one that I drove for Larry and Mike did it. So those get checked every week. There's been some nights that there's been 2 of the bolts out of the 6 that were still in the car, not broken, and the sprocket stayed on somehow. So yeah, that's definitely a maintenance item. You got to be sure that it's adjusted properly, correct tension on it. Alignment on your sprockets is huge. If they're not aligned properly, it'll throw the chain right off the car as soon as the car wings over in the corner.
Now, this last weekend or Sunday, when I was up at Glenn Hefner Incorporated for Glenn's celebration of life, as I mentioned earlier, Jeff Wessel gave me a tour of that facility, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But to see actually how wings are put together, and when he explained to me that you could actually take the aluminum that the wing is made out of, roll it up, and put it inside of a tube and drop it in the mail at the post office.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then they take it out of the tube wherever it arrives at, and then they have to rivet it, which he said takes a couple hours.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was like blown away that you can just roll that aluminum. But
You're very lucky that we live close enough to HRP. When we crash, we just go up and give them a call. Hey, we're going to come and get a wing, and they'll assemble one for us. So I would imagine it's got to take 4 hours at least to assemble a wing out of the tube.
Yeah, he said it's about a couple hours on each side.
Yeah.
Sitting there with a rivet gun.
Yeah, I've bought sideboards before to replace the sideboard, and they ship it the same way. They roll it up in the tube, throw all your braces in there, and drop it in the UPS.
Now, he did mention that he said it came from the World of Outlaws and started with some of the bigger teams in the World of Outlaws. They started ordering qualifying wings, which were lighter. And then he said that's filtered down to some of the regional series like the IRA, and that some of the teams are trying them there. Have you guys gone to that light of a wing yet, or is that not conducive to your rules, or how does that work?
The rules would allow it, but HRP doesn't build anything like that for us. And there's one wing that they make, and that's the wing you get. It comes with these sideboards. If you're going to do anything like that, you'd have to make it yourself, which there's probably a few guys out there that are handy with sheet metal and can make stuff like that. So as long as it fits in the dimensions of our rule book, you can do what you want. Our wings don't have to be a flat top. You can run a dished wing if you want to. What the Outlaws are doing, they're running narrower noses on them or thicker noses, a bigger curve on the bottom, depending on what track they're at, how much downforce they actually think they need on the car. So that's what they're changing between their qualifying wings and race wings. And they probably have wings that they're running when it gets real dry slick that they switch to.
Mm-hmm. Now, heading into this Saturday, we mentioned it's a 3-way battle. It's you and Mark Heinert and Brian Strain Jr. Brian is probably glad that he's not at Wilmot, because the last 2 races at Wilmot, he's leading and the clutch goes. And but then I guess after he left Wilmot, he went to 141 and took all his frustration out on you guys at 141 and won pretty easily. Have you guys been at Plymouth already this year? If you have, how did you do? Or how, if you know or remember, how did the 3 of you do?
We were at Plymouth. I won the feature there the last time we were there. I think Mark, he was in tech with us afterwards, so he was in the top 4. I think he may have finished second. And Brian actually crashed that night. He hooked the infield tire and flipped while we were up there. So, and both of those cars at Wilmot Friday night lost clutches. So they're both putting clutches in this week to go race this weekend. So,
okay. So have you gone over your clutch with a fine tooth comb?
I have not, but I had it open 2 weeks ago and everything's okay in there. So hopefully it'll be all right.
All righty. Well, good luck to you on Saturday night. We'll see who's going to be crowned the champ. I know we've had the IRA has had 2 champions the same year. Clayton Rossman and Tim Cox were both champs the same year in the wingless. I don't think there's ever been 3. So I don't know if all 3 of you guys could mathematically end up together at the end of the night or not.
Nah, Brian would win the tiebreaker if anyone ties with Brian, because he's got 7 wins at the moment. So he would win any tiebreaker that he's involved in. So
all righty. And I always let you, and we don't have much time here, but I want to let you get your sponsors in before I let you go.
Yeah, I want to thank Square One Heating and Cooling, Platinum Terrain, Gardner Mulches, HIP Wings, R&R Club, 1175. There's a whole bunch of people that help this team, Dream Chaser Racing. Larry and Mike, thanks for everything they do for me. Appreciate everyone involved in this team. Thank you, Mike, for everything you do for all of us and everything you do for Wilmot. And it doesn't go unnoticed by a lot of people, that's for sure.
I appreciate that, Nick, and we'll look forward to seeing you on Saturday night and maybe seeing you in Victory Lane.
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Nick Petzka joining us, and he'll be racing up at Plymouth this Saturday night, part of the Wisconsin Sprint Car Championships, all sprint car show, the bumper-to-bumper IRA 410 sprints, the wingless sprints, the lightning sprints, and the MSA 360 sprints. That's going to wrap it up for this week's show. We're going to get up to the races this Saturday night up at Plymouth. Kathy and I are going to take the trip up there. We're definitely looking forward to it, and we hope you get out to your local short track this weekend too, or go over to Great Lakes Dragway and watch them do some fun racing. Until we see you next time, this is Mike Babicz wishing you a pleasant evening, the best of tomorrows. Remember, kids, just say no to drugs. Thanks, good night, God bless, and let's go racing, everybody.
Thank you.